Holy smokes, it's a Marvel gaming renaissance, man. We just recently got the reveal of Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, and now we got a brand new PvP third-person shooter, a hero shooter at that, Marvel Rivals. That gameplay trailer is chock full of little details that you might have missed. We're gonna break all of that down here in this video. The trailer starts off with what you may think is Asgard, but is not actually Asgard. This is a newly created location specifically for this game outside of Marvel lore called Yggdrasil. You may also notice that in the far background that this is kind of the base of the world tree. And then we get a quick glimpse at a lineup of characters. From left to right, we got Loki, Magic from the X-Men, Namor, Luna Snow, who was a new character that was only created just 5 years ago. Then, of course, Groot and Rocket. Then even more characters are revealed after we get Doctor Strange opening up a portal. We get to see a look at Bruce Banner before he turns into the Hulk, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Penny Parker, and Iron Man. We also get a quick glimpse at you guys right now hitting the thumbs up button on this video. It's a really cool moment in the trailer. But then after we get a good look at the roster of characters, or at least some of them that are going to be in Marvel Rivals, then we jump into the gameplay. And there is a lot of information that you're going to be getting here right out of the gate. So it starts off with gameplay of Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is a bit tanky in here, starting at a base 600 health, and he can shoot, I guess, 6 shots of magic or whatever it might be before I assume he has to reload. You'll notice as well, next to his base health bar, there is a secondary health bar there with a little magic symbol next to it. This health bar is actually tied to his right-click ability, which is a big magical shield. And you can very quickly see this in action just as Bruce Banner is turning into the Hulk. In the background, Doctor Strange has the shield up. You could say that this is reminiscent of Reinhardt from Overwatch, if you play the Overwatch games, who has as well a big shield that he puts up in front of him. Doctor Strange's shift ability has something to do with the Cloak of Levitation. I imagine it's going to let you fly or hover. I mean, right when the gameplay starts, we can see Doctor Strange hovering above ground, so I imagine he's using that ability. I'm not sure what his E ability does. It's seemingly on cooldown though, and then of course there is his ultimate that's charging at the moment, but we're going to break that down later on in the trailer. And of course, as Doctor Strange hovers over, we then switch to the perspective of Bruce Banner. And yes, you start out these games as Bruce Banner, and then when you get your ultimate, you can then turn into the Hulk. Anybody who's a fan of Overwatch immediately knows that this is very reminiscent of D.Va. Of course, you can play as D.Va outside of the mech suit, but she has much lower health and can't really do all that much. Then when you get into the mech suit, you're a lot tankier, you got a ton of more health, and you got a bunch of more options available to you. And the whole idea there is that the D.Va mech suit allows you to kind of have a second life, essentially. So even though somebody may eliminate the suit, you still have a chance to get out of there and wait for it to charge back up so you can get back into the suit. I imagine the same is going to apply to the Hulk here. You know, when you turn into the Hulk, you got a bunch of more health. If somebody takes out all that health, you turn back into Bruce Banner, but then they have to still take you out as Bruce Banner for you to be eliminated. And yes, as Bruce, you do have some kind of pistol, and then you also have only 200 health with one single ability being some sort of gamma grenade by the looks of it. But when you do Hulk out, then you get a base 900 health, which is insanely tanky. You get unlimited punches, so he doesn't have like a shooting attack. He actually just hits you. It's all melee. And then his C ability is some sort of gamma shot. When you're using this against enemies, it actually does damage, but you can also use this as part of his team-up attacks. This is a big part of Marvel Rivals. When there are characters that make sense to team up, you can actually work together to essentially create an enhanced ability for the teammate you're working with. So in this instance, Hulk uses his gamma to throw it at Iron Man, which allows him to then have a gamma-infused unibeam. Hulk's right-click ability is reserved for the Thunderclap, which we see him use to take out Namor at the beginning of the trailer. And then his E ability is maybe some sort of grab based on the symbol that's used there. Maybe it's some sort of a bear hug or something. I don't think it's what we see later on in the trailer when Hulk is just tossing around Loki. I think that's actually Hulk's ultimate. And yeah, like I said, Hulk passes his gamma power over to Iron Man, which then gives us our first look at how Iron Man is going to play. Iron Man has a relatively low 250 base health, but I imagine the reason for this is because he's got a lot of more mobility. You know, he can stay airborne, he can fly around. That'll make it a bit more difficult for you to be able to take him out. I'm not sure if you can stay flying indefinitely, but from the looks of it on his ability set, shift has something to do with his flight. You can see very quickly before he gets past the gamma power that his left click is a repulsor blast and his right click is a unibeam. But it looks like if you use his F ability, you can actually momentarily switch to a different arsenal, as his repulsor blast and unibeam now change into two different logos. moves. Now, the left click has something to do with like a wrist cannon, which we see him use, and I'm not sure exactly what the right click can do, but maybe it has something to do with the extra pieces of armor that he's got. And of course, we see him destroy that statue. Destructible environments is also something we can expect to explore here in Marvel Rivals, which is going to be really fun, and again, sets it apart from games like Overwatch and in general other hero shooters. I just wonder what the level of destruction is going to be like. Like, how far does it go? How much is going to get destroyed? Following Iron Man's gameplay bit though, then we jump to Doctor Strange. He opens up a portal for Spider-Man and Penny Parker to run through. Through this, we can see that Spider-Man starts out at a base 300 health. He can shoot unlimited webs as his projectile move, and then he's got an ultimate that ties up several enemies in the vicinity and also does a devastating amount of damage. And clearly, from what we can tell here, if the ultimate doesn't end up eliminating your opponents, it'll have them webbed up, which will allow your teammates to just take them out. It looks like he can web swing with shift, and from what I'm seeing here, he may only have 3 charges before it goes on cooldown. Right click is some kind of web attack that has 5 charges based on what we were seeing under his reticle, and then E is another web attack. I'm not sure what it does, but I'm assuming it's going to have something to do with webs. And F is like an uppercut of some sort with, again, 2 charges before cooldown based on what we're seeing. That might not be confirmed, but that's what I'm inferring. And very quickly after Spider-Man pops his ult, you can actually see some murals in the background, and I don't think this is Asgard, or at least this universe for this map is not Asgard, but is probably Yggdrasil, like I said at the beginning of the breakdown. So the lore in this universe or in this timeline with Yggdrasil, not Asgard, might be a little different. And the murals in the background depict Loki facing off against Surtur, you know, the bringer of Ragnarok. Maybe the lore here is that Loki prevented Ragnarok. I mean, there's a bunch of Loki banners on this map as well, so he seems to be worshipped in some way in this version of the Marvel lore. We switch over to Luna Snow, who from what I can tell looks to be a support character. She skates around before initiating a team up with Namor. She does this by injecting Namor with some ice energy, and I believe then when we switch to Namor, we can see him using this in action. He throws tridents, and one of them seems to be ice infused. Like I said, Luna Snow is a fairly new character in Marvel Comics, and from the gameplay, I think we can all kind of tell that this looks to be this game's version of Lucio from Overwatch. Namor's also got up 3 little support squids that he can spawn to help him out, I guess. Maybe you got to take these down. Maybe they're kind of like turrets. I have no idea, but they look like they're going to be a pain to deal with if you're on the enemy team. It also looks like his shift ability is some sort of shield, maybe like a water dome to block incoming attacks. I don't know. Namor looks pretty cool though. And then we switch over to Loki. 250 base health for this character, which seems to be the standard for a lot of the characters in this game. And he can shoot you with his scepter. You actually see towards the beginning of the trailer when Hulk is hulking out that Loki is perched up above, shooting down at him with his scepter. You get 10 shots, I'm guessing, before you got to reload. And it looks like, interestingly, you can create a clone with Loki and then also teleport to that clone. Of course, you know, this acts as like an illusion for your enemies that'll mess with them, but again, also a spot that you can then teleport to. It's worth noting that next to his health bar, there is a secondary health bar, which I imagine is for the illusion, which means sometimes you can try and spawn one to then go into your teleport, but the enemy team can destroy the illusion before you can teleport there. His shift is some sort of healing ability from what we can tell. His right click is maybe a cloak of some kind. E allows you to place your illusion. F allows you to teleport to that illusion. And then he's got his ultimate, which from what we can see in the trailer here allows you to turn into one of the enemies in front of you. And man, this is sick. Loki is definitely going to be a character to watch out for. I think this is going to be one of the top tier characters in the game. It gets me so hyped. I cannot wait to try out a character like this. I'm almost as hyped as I would be for you guys to subscribe right now and turn on those notifications for more Marvel Rivals videos. But yes, Loki here switches to Black Panther, which gives us a quick look at Black Panther's moveset. Man, he looks like a ton of fun as well. He's got this awesome torpedo attack. His ult then also spawns Bast, and it's kind of similar to Hanzo's ult from Overwatch. There's just so much potential here, man. I love it. We switch over to Magic. Her right click is a dash move. Her ult lets you turn into her demon form known as the Dark Child. And it looks like, you know, she doesn't have any projectiles. She just uses the sword to attack you with. Rocket can heal people from the looks of it, so he's going to be another support type character. And naturally, if somebody is going to be playing as Groot, as Rocket, you can then team up with that person riding on Groot's shoulder. As we continue to flash by gameplay so quickly, I believe we very briefly get a look at Iron Man's ultimate, which is a charged up repulsor blast that then creates an explosion that's ever expanding. Then you see Penny Parker's ult, I believe, which she just charges at you and attacks you with her suit if you get in her way. And like I said earlier on, I think here's where we get a glimpse at Hulk's ultimate ability, where he just grabs Loki and Avengers style from the first Avengers movie literally just ragdolls him around, tossing him like a piece of trash. Doctor Strange uses the Eye of Agamotto, which for brand synergy reasons, I think he uses as well the Time Stone. It's got this green effect, and it also freezes all the enemies in the vicinity. This will then leave them vulnerable, and it'll allow you and your team to do a decent amount of damage to them before they can unfreeze. Considering Luna Snow is a support character, I think her ultimate is some sort of AoE healing effect. And then after a quick flash of all of these characters, we zoom out to Galacta. Not Galactus, but Galacta. Now, you're already typing your angry comment about this, I imagine, but take a step back, okay? Pick up a comic book maybe every once in a while. You see, Galacta is from the comic books. We're taking some deep cuts here. She is the daughter of Galactus, and I don't think this was supposed to be something we were going to take seriously back when the character was first introduced, but nevertheless, it's in the comic books, and they're using it here in the game. And she's kind of surrounded by different universes by the looks of it. It's mentioned over on the Marvel website to give you a bit of context as to what the lore is here, that Marvel Rivals features a storyline crafted by the NetEase writing team where the merciless clash between the tyrannical dictator Dr. Doom and his future counterpart from the year 2099 has forced countless universes to collide in the time stream entanglement, creating new worlds and crises still unknown. Now, superheroes and supervillains from across the multiverse must fight together and against one another as disparate groups seek to defeat both dooms before one achieves domination of these realities. Familiar faces become newfound foes, while former enemies become the greatest of allies in Marvel Rivals. So that's right, there's this whole multiversal war, there's a bunch of different universes involved, which is why we zoomed out to Galacta, just plucking out a different universe to choose from. This will maybe be like the start of the match animation. And I mean, taking that a step further, after we zoom into the universe that Galacta has chosen, we then see this Iron Man themed train zoom by, and you can see in the far background before the train takes up a majority of the screen that there's some floating rocks in the background, and there might be some maps we can play on here. Mainly, I think one of them looks like, to me, Kamartaj. I don't know, I'm just speculating, but hey, then the train rolls by, and a bunch of more characters are revealed. From left to right, we got Storm looking just peak. That design is fantastic. Then we got Magneto, Star-Lord, Mantis, the Punisher, and Scarlet Witch. All of them look amazing, but man, Storm's design and Magneto's I love. Although I would really love to see Magneto's design with the classic red and purple color scheme. All of these characters jump out a window into action, and then you can see a very futuristic map below them. Over on the Marvel website, they mentioned that there are going to be maps like Asgard and then the Tokyo of 2099, which I believe is what we're seeing below the characters after they jump out the window at the end of the trailer. What you might not have noticed though is just to the right of Storm, off in the distance, you can see a building there that is Alchemax. Now, I'm a big stupid idiot and I thought that this was the Avengers Tower at first, but thankfully my editor can actually read and pointed out to me that that is Alchemax in the background there. Which, I mean, it makes a lot of sense if Alchemax is one of the buildings you're going to see if this map we're seeing here is the Tokyo of 2099. And then our trailer ends with the promise of a closed alpha coming in May. My goodness, I cannot wait to get my hands on this game. I feel like I've been itching for something like this for a very long time. Just a fun PvP game with our Marvel characters being utilized in such a creative, unique way. And I played a little bit of Overwatch back in the day. I did like it, and maybe this is gonna scratch that itch for me again. And with that being said, let me now kick it to you guys. Was there anything in my breakdown that I pointed out that you didn't catch when you initially watched the trailer? And is there anything in my breakdown that I might have missed? Sound off with your thoughts in the comments. I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.